Going live. Okay, here we are. We're live on Facebook and we're live on YouTube and we're actually live on Twitter. And that's what really gets me is being live on Twitter. I don't know. It's like being up there on a wire, bird on a wire, tweeting at each other.
Well, keep in mind, if we're live, everything you say is live. So we got to be even more mindful.
Certainly, Twitter has been, felt like you're left out in a line. The conversations can be combative. And kind of what Patty said about being in live video, one of the advantages, at least for people like us, of live video is that you come through authentically. For some people, authentically is not good. It's very negative, and that's doesn't give any credibility. And for us, we're like good people delivering in this case a very cool message, and it comes through authentically.
Amen. And we've already got a Facebook like, so they really like what you're saying.
Well, I really liked what you said. I never heard you say that, and I think it's really true and great. And the other thing that I kept thinking in my mind was that as long as you never lie, you don't have to worry about what you said last time. Yeah. And that's what's good about being clean. I'm so clean I squeak, and not a lot of people can handle being around me because I tell it like I see it. But my new thing, before the show, Alfred said, who's got something new? And of course we both do. Come on, me. So my new thing, of course, I heard Chris say it for the first year that we've known each other, 3-4 years now, but we've been in business together 2 years, and all the shows he would say, because he's at the lab, I use the coconut oil MCT in the morning with my coffee, and I use the avocado oil in my lunch salad. And then later, I get my olive oil because it's the strongest ESS60 on earth. It's got 0.8 milligrams per milliliters of C60 ESS60, which you're not going to get in anything else, most likely, unless somebody else is doing really high purity olive oil, C60. The avocado oil is not far below at 0.6 compared to 0.885, but the coconut MCT oil only has 0.3 to 0.35 milligrams per milliliters. And everybody prefers, of course, the flavor of coconut oil because it's just so yummy and easy to drink. But for me, I've been kind of snooty because I want the big punch. If I'm going to do it, I'm going to take my spoonful and get a full, heavy dose. And I don't do a teaspoon like most ladies. I do a tablespoon because I had a little bit more to heal. And I have been super satisfied, but all of a sudden, I hear Chris do it one time too many. And I said, okay. So I called the lab. I said, please send me some MCT coconut oil. I'm going to do this teeny little, it's not even teeny at all. For most people, it's a mega boost. But for me, because I'm used to the powerhouse, and when I'm really in the mood, I hit the big bottle. So I don't drink liquor, but I do drink ESS60, which is pure C60. So now I'm doing this in the morning. And I will admit that because I know it has a lot less ESS60 in it, I pour it in. I don't just take my little spoon and gracefully, I tip it. And then I go, oh, well, it's going to be a long day. And I tip it again. So I do 2 good pours. And I'm probably doing 3 to 4 tablespoons in the morning with my coffee. And it's so lovely because Chris has come to my house and seen that I do like a small boat of coffee. It's just huge, like a little swimming pool. And so to have ESS60 in it with the MCT, that's delicious. My days are different. My energy is smoother. It lasts longer. And I am in love now with our C60 Evo MCT coconut oil in my morning coffee. And I got to be honest, I haven't done the olive oil since I started that because I do so much. I don't need it. So thank you for consistently mentioning that. And someday I'll start doing the avocado in my salad and go, oh, why didn't I start that a year ago?
I could have started that earlier too. That's funny. Well, and I did just notice a comment came in. Somebody was talking about they're taking C60. They're saying, does your C60 have purple as Bucky Tech purple? I don't know exactly what that is. The MCT oil is purple. So when you get that, well, industrial C60 or processed for human consumption ESS60 in MCT oil, it does turn a beautiful color, the purple color. The problem is that does have the lower concentrations. And like Patty said, she's ended up taking a lot more in her coffee. That's great. My routine is actually to do that. And then while that's blending, I take some of our olive oil, really a teaspoon and a half, and then take with the salad, I'll do the avocado oil. So I don't know. Bucky Tech, I think, has been out there. I don't know. But again, we tested 22 of the brands that are out there, and their the best way for me to describe it is the concentrations in those products were woefully low. It's really why we've created the ESS60 moniker, that C60, that industrial C60 that's been processed for safer human consumption. That's ESS60. Often I say, if you're going to ask us questions and trust us to give you honest answers, then you probably should be buying from us.
Right. Well, I have, thank you, Chris, and Patty. I have a kind of a scientific question for Chris. And it's something that I puzzle through, and it's above my scientific glass ceiling. And this gets back to the original playing field that we're on. The headline for today's show was ESS60 Antioxidant, 172 times more powerful than vitamin C, immune boost, anti-aging, antiviral. Boom. Now, let's point to that phrase, and I know that this comes from experiments. Antioxidant, 172 times more powerful than vitamin C. Now, the vitamin that has been in the news, aside from vitamin C, is vitamin D. And they say, make sure you have your vitamin D and take zinc. Now, why can't you say, or is it theoretically hypothetical, that ESS60 is 172 times an antioxidant more powerful than vitamin D? I'm just putting it out as a hypothesis. Over to you, scientist Chris Burres.
Yeah, that's an interesting question, and there is a potential that it is in fact true, right? That is absolutely a potential. The thing that's unique, and you're really talking about two very different things, vitamin C and vitamin D. Vitamin D is actually what it does of value for us against the virus is it's actually an immune suppressor. Right. So it doesn't allow our immune system to get over agitated. And a lot of the damage that is caused by this virus is actually by our own immune system attacking us because it's gotten so fired up over the virus being in our bodies. Vitamin D is a well-known immune suppressor. And so it just tempers our immunity. So it's not suppressing it to the point that other things are going out of control. It's just saying, hey, guys, the analogy is, there's a couple of levels of immunity defense, and one of them is kind of the sniper. And the sniper is the thing that comes on like something new is in our body. We're going to use this sniper, and we're going to take these things out. Well, then the sniper doesn't snipe fast enough, right? It's not killing enough virus entities fast enough. And so then it's like, okay, well, we're just going to bring out the machine gun. Well, there's a lot of collateral damage in a machine gun. There's a lot of inflammation. There's all sorts of things that go wrong with this. And vitamin D is a good manager, saying, hey, use the machine gun, but let's use it sparingly, just to give an analogy. Is it possible that the ESS60 molecule does that? Yeah, that's certainly possible. We certainly have some data, and we got to be really careful about what we say as it relates to inflammation. And that data is that, and this is really what the FDA will allow us to say, is we can say that our product is beneficial as an anti-inflammatory against the inflammation related to exercise, right? So you go out, you do a heavy routine, and maybe you walk just, 5 times longer than you normally do. You're out a long day shopping, you go hiking, and you're sore. Your knees are sore or whatever sore on your body from that workout. We actually do address that inflammation. What the FDA will not allow us to say is that we address other inflammation. We can say that we fit perfectly in with an anti-inflammatory diet. Those diets are known for the blue zone people across the world. Those people have reduced incidences of stroke, reduced incidences of heart attacks, and kind of in parallel with this original study where the rats live 90% longer, those people in the blue zone tend to live longer. And so that's what I would say to that, not having the exact answer to it.
Very good. Patty, do you have any thoughts or comments in this particular area? Or
it's funny you ask, because I'm going, what's the blue zone?
So the blue zone is it's a region in the, well, I think there's 2 across the country. One is an island in Japan, right off of the coast of the mainland of Japan, and then the other one is in the Mediterranean. I don't remember exactly where it is. And again, those are well-studied people because the average age of the citizens in those regions is significantly higher than the average around the world. And again, they tend to eat very anti-inflammatory diets.
I didn't know that. Thank you.
Yeah.
That's my new learn for the day. Yeah. I think that what we learn the most from is testimonials, and they are nonstop coming in, and it's been really nice. It's very rare when people have an issue where they don't feel it or they feel nauseous, and we always address every email as quickly as possible with a lot of facts of, what we learned from all the other testimonials, because for us, this is how we grow as a company, is listening to our customers and how the products affect them, and just consistently positive, which is really nice. We don't hear much about the price anymore because people realize they're getting so much pure ESS60 in the bottle that they don't need quite as much as they maybe did with other products. So in the early days, when I would drip a little bit on the counter or finish taking it off the spoon, I would never waste it, even though I'm one of the owners of the company and I get as many bottles as I would like. I'm still very, very guarded with my products. And so I'd always wipe it off the spoon and rub it on my hands and put it on my face. And I started seeing improvements. So we've mentioned it on your show before, but one of our amazing discoveries is putting ESS60 in facial serum. So here's Chris with his pink bottle. He swore he would never be a facial serum guy or a supplement guy in his laboratory in Houston, Texas. But now that he's been messing with Patty 2 years, he's a serum guy. And pretty soon he is going to be a body oil guy. So in the meantime, we also made a lip renewal that is really impressive, infused with the ESS60. Chris has the mint. I have the unflavored, because whenever I put on like a little bit of lip color, which doesn't last very long, I throw on a layer of unflavored, the ESS60 amazing lip renewal, and it lasts like an hour. I mean, a lot of lip balms, you rub your lips, you eat something, it's gone. This stuff, somehow the wax, it's all natural, vegan, organic. Whatever's in it, our formulator did, is absolutely dreamy because it stays very moist for a very long time. And so our whole product line is inside and out and lips. We're trying to address feeling good in and out, which are one of our regular posts or ads we do is, when you feel good, you glow, or when you feel good, it shows. And I don't know if it's because I don't wear my glasses when I'm on the air, but every time I look at my skin, I'm always turning my face like my brown spots are gone. I used to be kind of, freckly and motorcycle leftovers, and it's like using these products has really cleared my body. And in the first 6 months, I had a horrible segment of all the shows Chris and I did called Guess What Came Out of My Body This Week? I was a little graphic. I was a little younger then, but I was stunned at what this product does as far as detoxing for me. I'm not making medical statements. I'm making personal testimonials, which is what I am for the company. Chris is the science. Rob is the science. I'm just testimonials and social butterfly. But I also really am proud of what comes out of our company. And here comes the holidays. And we have these beautiful gift sets that we've put together where you save money, like 15% if you buy the inside and out and lip set. And we do it in the 4 ounce and the 8 ounce, but it all comes in really pretty tissue. So you could pretty much give us addresses and do your Christmas shopping with us. And the facial serum, which all of us love, even guys, comes in this really nice box. And here's the one I just about tore up, but when you open it, the bottle of serum is in there, but it's really lovely. It says revive, replenish, rejuvenate. And it's just a nice presentation, kind of a really nice natural gift that's healing. And when you give people things they actually use that make a difference, that's a gift that's worth giving. And a lot of people end up getting subscriptions. You save 20% from the start, 20% every month, and then you get it shipped to you. And if you don't love it, just write us or call us and we'll cut it off. But these discounts add up. So we haven't been hearing people complain about the price anymore, such as the gift set's 15 off. If you get that every month, that's another 20% off. And if you're listening to Alfred's show, he's got a special code right below that gives you another 10% off. So we want everybody to have a good Christmas. Our November special is, you'll see it on the website, which is listed right next to Alfred's name, C60EVO, like evolution.com.
Yeah, but they need to use this link, right? It needs to be c60evo.com/Alfred LW. Is that right? Or is it just ALW?
EVALW. And since you're listening to Exopolitics TV, C60 Evo has very generously is in a revenue sharing thing where our programming gets supported by your purchases. So that is great. You get the discount, you get an extra discount for using our code EVALW, and then our programming gets supported. So it's a win-win-win. And I just wanted to mention this because it's like a neighborhood here. A very good friend of ours here in Vancouver, Susan Aram, is online. And she says, Chris, what is your background? So I wanted to ask Chris this question because it really interests me. Chris, when you were when you were a graduate student in Houston, where you still are, and you were preparing for, and if I have the timing off, just tell me, Chris was in a situation where he actually created the C60 that was used for the Nobel Prize tests, the tests of the C60 that got the Nobel Prize in the 1990s. Did you ever think that the C60 that you were doing would end up as a superfood supplement? When was it that kind of dawned in your horizon? At what stage?
Well, that's a great question. And let me first address. I wish I was more intimately involved with the Nobel Prize. So that was actually discovered So manufactured in just research quantities. So we're talking
Oh, I see.
picograms at Rice University, and 3 professors were acknowledged for that discovery. They ultimately won the Nobel Prize for that discovery. I started my company in 1991. So again, you think in time frames, they discovered it in 85. And they won the Nobel Prize in 96. So about 5 years before the Nobel Prize was granted for the molecule, me and Robert Wong started the first company that still exists to make commercial quantities of carbon nanomaterials. So it's also interesting, the year that we started the company, 1991, all 10 of the 10 most referenced scientific papers. So there's an organization out there that looks like every scientific paper references another paper, and they tabulate which papers get the most references. All 10 of the 10 most referenced scientific papers were regarding fullerenes, regarding these carbon nanomaterials that I was selling, that started selling that same year. So pretty amazing. Really, we think in terms of viral, like a YouTube video goes viral, or some Instagram post or a Twitter tweet goes viral. This was a viral scientific discovery that ultimately ended up in the Nobel Prize. So really exciting. You asked, like, what kind of did we think it would be a superfood / supplement? I can say unequivocally, supplement, no. We didn't think that. There were a lot of amazing things, even by, say, 1990, I think 3. It was already known that, at least in a test tube, and there's patents related to this, that original kind of C60 molecule was in a position to inhibit the replication of the AIDS virus. So that's, a known antiviral very early on. And there are patents related to that. The next thing that is interesting is this buckyball cage. Right. So if anybody's just listening, I'm really holding up what looks like, a chemical model of a soccer ball, where the lines on the soccer ball represent the bonds between the carbon atoms. You have a spherical molecule of 60 carbon atoms. That's what this molecule is. It's big enough. It's a void. It's the first molecule ever discovered to have a void inside of it. And that void is big enough for any atom on the periodic chart to fit inside of it. Not only that, we're very familiar that as a society, we have a molecule is called benzene, which is ubiquitous and necessary for modern society. And I say that because if you just stop for one moment and look around you and look at everything that's plastic, you do not have plastic without the benzene ring. Like, that is not a possibility. So we have a lot of chemistry. Actually, a lot of medicines are based on the benzene ring, a lot of detergents. So again, we don't have modern society without the benzene ring. Well, there's actually a lot of benzene rings on the exterior of this cage. And it turns out that the chemistry that we know how to work on a benzene ring also works on the exterior of this buckyball. And so it was theorized, because any atom on the periodic chart could fit inside of it, that we could actually take radioactive atoms, squeeze them inside of this buckyball, attach components to the exterior with the chemistry we already understand, and get those buckyballs to attach to something like, say, a cancer cell. Once it's attached to the cancer cell, you've got that radioactive atom inside of the buckyball, irradiating that particular cancer cell. So it was understood that medical uses would be highly probable. I think something as simple and ultimately what turns out to be beneficial as just a supplement was not theorized in those early days. And just one other kind of study that's really impressive on the capabilities of this molecule. In a petri dish, you can have cancer cells and healthy human cells. And you typically, in this situation, you'll introduce an anti-cancer agent, which is in fact a poison. Like, the goal of most cancer treatments is to poison the cancer, but hopefully poison it before you poison the cells that are important to surviving. So in the presence of this ESS60 molecule, when they introduced the anti-cancer agent, the poison, to a petri dish that has cancer cells and healthy cells, again, in the presence of the ESS60 molecule, that anti-cancer agent worked better against the cancer cells. So there was more efficacy against the cancer cells, and it actually had protective effects for the healthy human cells. So pretty phenomenal results. Again, big difference between what you might do in a petri dish and what you might do, in vivo in actual test subjects. But some pretty profound medical applications were understood, just not a supplement.
Well, also in the 2012 Paris Bhakti study, the most famous C60 study, that was our lab's product. And those rats live 90% longer, which is what people talk about. But there was another phenomenal answer, which was they died without tumors.
Yeah. So a typical Wistar rat, and Wistar rat was what was used in the study, lives about 32 months, and they have a known amount of tumors. So the longer that rat lives, the more tumor mass they will have in their bodies. Even though the C60 Evo rats lived out to 62 months, so 90% longer, none of them had any tumors, right? So I always like to caution people, because people will hear that piece of the study, which is phenomenal. And they're like, oh, it's an anti-cancer agent. And the answer to that is no, like that's irresponsible. No. There's a huge difference between dealing with a cancer that is metastasized and being a cancer preventative. I mean, we know things as simple as good exercise, a nutritious diet, proper sleep are anti-cancer or are cancer preventatives. And so this result just throws it potentially, and in this case, we're talking about tumor mass. We're not necessarily talking about cancerous tumors. So it just shows that it has some there's reasonable likelihood that it's got a tumor prevention components to it.
I like the facts. I mean, for somebody who's my age and has dealt with a number of surprising science questions, will I make it? Heck yeah. When I find something that has these results as far as petri dish and Wistar rats, it would appear to me that it's a really good idea to just keep my body flowing with it. What I saw when I first started was a lot of detoxing. That's when I was jokingly saying, oh my God, what came out of my body? But for me, it was also skin cancer came out of my body. And I'd go to the doctor. When they took it out, I'd go, wow, thank you for just taking it away. But the healing was remarkable. And I'd call the doctor the next day and say, when is the numbing agent going to wear off? And she said, an hour from surgery. And all 3 times in the last 2 years, I've had no pain. Now, my body's never been like this, but I feel like whatever this is doing for me has really upgraded my system. And I know that I'm dealing with a lot less of all the things that I used to be worried about. And this is just like a power pack. So I'm not the scientist down there at the lab. I'm the social director up here on a cloud. But the products are really impressing people. And I couldn't be more proud to have my partners be the owners of the lab that's been doing it 30 years. We're not new at it. And all the people we deal with are always saying, you guys are so smooth. It's like, yeah, we're pretty experienced in all this. So Chris and I coming together, me and Chris and Robert, the lab, has been the most lovely transition. And, for us, it's about quality. I love that Chris started the show talking about being live is a sign of being willing to be integral, trusting that you've got the confidence, but also the story that people want to hear. If we're not interesting, why go on the air? And it's not just an infomercial. It's also people's experiences at a time when this separation of consciousness, Alfred's new writings, what was it? The parallel realities, but all of us are kind of talking about it. People we love. I had an hour-long talk with my real estate broker today, and she calls me because she wants to catch up, and I listen to her because I want to see what they're really saying on that kind of news, because it's so different than my brain. And I really think that if I didn't use this product, I'd be as crazy as a lot of the people that are out there crazy, driving angry, honking a lot, yelling, fighting over the masks, fighting over politics, in the aisles at the grocery store. I mean, wearing a huge shower curtain for protection almost energetically. We need to have a mental stability supplement. Now, some people choose medications or alcohol, but when you've got ESS60 in the morning, in my opinion, not much can throw me off the cliff anymore. And life is definitely testing. Every time the phone rings, I look like, yeah, I'm not even worried anymore because not much bothers me, which is really great. Till I look at what other people's reality is, and then I'm really concerned. So, for mental stability, aside from all the other benefits, that's a big one that I think is going to be really needed as we move into these next 6 months to a year and see who's right, who's wrong, as far as what's healthy and what wasn't a good idea. I think it's all going to be coming out. And people are going to need arms around each other kindness and products that keep us sane. Somehow this product does. Chris, how does this keep people sane?
Well, so one of the things that you said was that some people choose supplementation, some people choose alcohol, and it turns out with ours you can do both. We've got lots of reports of people saying that our product in the formulation in our product actually helps with hangovers. I'm certainly not encouraging anybody to over imbibe, and we've gotten this testimonial from quite a few people. So you can supplement and have your drink at night, which again probably is not a great idea. And you mentioned, really kind of mental stability, and I want to make sure that we're not walking or that we're doing the right thing. So let's interject here. The FDA has not evaluated our product. It is not intended to treat, diagnose, cure, or prevent any disease. That's a requirement to share with you. And we 100% agree with the requirement. This is a very new thing. Not too many people know about it. It's cutting edge. And so we want to make sure that you're not going into this, that you're going into this with eyes wide open. The reality is our most consistent testimonial is people take it in the morning, they report mental focus and energy during the day, and then better sleep that night. I'm not aware of anything that you take in the morning that positively impacts your sleep that night. There are two things you could do. So you could get exercise in the morning. And if you exercise as opposed to not exercise, you'll actually sleep better that night. Also, if you get exposure to the sun, so get your circadian rhythm in line with the rising and setting of the sun, that will have a positive impact on your sleep. I'm not aware of any supplement. I've never heard anybody even say anything about a supplement that you might take before noon, let alone like first thing in the morning or in your cup of coffee like you, Patty, what that has a positive impact on sleep that night. Now, you want to talk about mental stability. Again, no claims here. Here's a fact. If you are getting better sleep, whether it's deeper sleep, whether it's more sleep, more restful sleep, then your mental stability will be enhanced the following day. Like this is there's no debate here. The data's in. It's really clear. There's actually a really good book out there called Why We Sleep by Dr. Matthew Walker. Phenomenal book, and the scariest book that you might ever read about sleep, because he's sharing 25 years of sleep research and all of the negative things that happen to you when you don't get enough sleep. And they're all about the emotional instability, the intellectual instability, and from the perspective of just not being able to remember things, and the performance in terms of athletic performance or just physical performance. The degradation is the data is in. You need sleep. You need 7.5 to 9 hours of what they call sleep opportunity every night. And if you're enhancing that, if you're encouraging that and causing that, then you're going to see the reverse. You're going to see the improvements in, focus and attention. You're going to see improvements in your emotional well-being, and you're going to see physical performance improvements.
Amen. I want to mention we recommend you take your C60 Evo before noon with food and water for best results. Some people like it on an empty stomach. I just go for ultimate guaranteed security. You're going to feel better if you've got some food in your stomach when you put a teaspoon or a tablespoon of oil in. Alfred, are you noticing any better sleep since you've been taking it?
I just came off of a very special competition, and that was the NaNoWriMo novel writing competition, at which I would on purpose arise at 5 a.m. To write my 50,000 word novel in 30 days. So in a way, I was getting by on little sleep because of this competition. But yeah, I think that if by sleep, it's not, what I find is that my sleep is not concentrated all in one time. I have a different pattern. In other words, I'm on the left coast here, and we do things a little bit different out here. And let's say that after this, I might go and lie down and have a couple of hours of sleep and then get up for the evening's festivities, if you see what I'm saying. I.e., we don't put all our eggs in one basket at night. We kind of graze sleep. But I can graze sleep, which I've never done before, so I think that counts.
Do you know in the olden days, they did 4-hour chunks of sleep? And that may have been farm because they had to get up and deal with the animals. But I've read in the ancient times, they were like 4-hour chunks of sleep, which seems like what I've been doing. I used to sleep like a baby and my head goes down, I'm gone. But about 12 years ago, I started making movies and I'd get my ideas at 3 a.m. and I'd wake up like a bullet train and I couldn't get back to sleep for hours. And I'd wake up in the morning with streams of notes and just, oh my God. So I think years of that, because I made 8 films in 10 years, I was up a lot of nights. So I've been trying to retrain my body with the ESS60 and I sleep harder for sure. But in the last, I'm going to admit it, 2 weeks, I made some changes and now I'm sleeping so much better. I was like, why am I still getting up? And okay, so the thing that I learned is when I get up in the morning, I have to make myself have something before coffee. Especially now the coffee's even more fun. It's like, oh man, what do I have to eat today before I deserve my coffee? I mean, it's like work, but I honor it. So I'll try and do some water. And lately my thing is kefir because that's easy. It only takes a few minutes and I enjoy it. My probiotics are happy. And then I go for my big gallon of coffee and take a swim. So that has helped to step back on starting my day with a blast off. And I bet a lot of people do that. So perhaps step back your coffee from being the first thing, let it be the second or third. That has helped my sleep. But the other one is that when I lay there for over an hour tossing and I go, okay, I got to get up, make my go back to sleep tea, I would throw myself a tea party because I, deserve it at 2 or 3 in the morning, if I'm going to stay up. And so I turn on my internet and I'll watch some more news because my brain just doesn't want to sleep. And then I go back to bed. It takes me a little longer. So now the new discipline is no internet at night. I mean, come on, everybody should know that. But I confess, I can't get enough news about what's going on in the world. Who says what says who, what's the Congress, what's the Senate. I mean, I am so excited about this evolution, this great awakening. And then my neighbor goes, great death, great reset. And then the other neighbor goes, I mean, it's like, I'll be right back. Okay, where were we? Yeah, it's a dance right now socially. I think the hardest thing for me is seeing humans with diapers over their mouth. I find that probably the biggest insult in human history. that we have fallen for this gag that masks make a difference and blah, 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 blah. I don't want to hurt anybody's grandmother, but when I go out, it makes me want to come home. When I watch news with all these big leaders in the Congress wearing these big black diapers on their face, I find it so offensive. Oh my God, I just look at my bottle and go, I got to wait till tomorrow. Don't want to do it too late in the day. But boy, oh boy, this is a test, isn't it? Are you finding it to be a test at all? Or are you just too busy at the lab down there, Chris?
Actually, I'm sorry, I got a little distracted. I was reading from Susan, and she's talking about bulletproof coffee, which is actually what we're doing.
Yep.
And instead of the MCT, that's recommended in bulletproof coffee, we're using our MCT, which has the ESS60 molecule in it. So maybe, Susan, that's something that you're already doing, maybe with another C60. In that case, I would encourage you to try ours. We are the lab that provided the original material to the scientists who did that original quote unquote toxicity study that became a longevity study. And those rats were actually mentioned in that original research paper. So we're the start of this industry. Yeah, I think there's absolutely a lot going on, and I think that continuing for me, and I haven't done it yet. Like when I have these long days where I'm continuing to do one show, and I was on vendor meetings and all this, I end up tilting and taking another shot of the product, and you just reminded me I need another one.
Go for it.
Yeah, I have a question. Do you think there'll ever be C60 cafes?
Yeah, I mean, it's certainly possible. Like there's places where you can go test olive oil, and we use a high quality olive oil. Yeah, it's certainly possible. I think.
I mean, not everyone walks around with their bottle, and they, and why not go in and meet a couple of friends for
a shot of C60 Evo?
Yeah, and a chat.
I think
no, really.
Yeah,
I'm serious.
I think you call those Buckminster Fuller cafes, right? And you go in there and pontificate about us being on this big giant blue flying saucer shooting through space.
Susan says when the bars in the world are turned into healing bars of the planet, then C60 will be there indeed.
Yeah.
But I mean, right now, if we're looking at the old order, well, I just have to say it. I haven't drinking alcohol for decades, so excuse me if there's a fan of alcohol out there, but alcohol is a depressant. And so you have this huge liquor industry with bars. And so people are out there in bars drinking a lot of stuff around tables and getting depressed. So what if we just change that picture and you had a C60 cafe, right? And you could creatively mix it up somehow, right? With iced coffees and other drinks and stuff. I mean, I think that the vibe would get very high in there, wouldn't it?
Yes.
Yeah, I think that'd be great. Intuitive people.
Now, I think that that's a marketable idea. So anyway,
I'll support anybody who wants to run with that. I'll support them and provide whatever help I can.
Yeah, we'll be happy to supply the product.
And no masks, of course, because we're protected by C60. Oops, that I said that.
It really does make me feel safe. My family has run this dang thing through. 1 week, the kids are throwing up. The next week, yesterday, my daughter had a fever, and I still go over there because I don't get sick. And twice in the month that they've been going through it, late at night, I was like, ooh, I feel something in the top of my throat. I wake up well in the morning. This really does boost your immune system. And your initial question of How do we know 172 times more powerful than vitamin C? All I know is I've been around sick people and I don't get sick. And I love that. But I have, I kind of carry a little chip on my shoulder of no fear. I don't need the mask. I don't need the fear. What I need is people to be nice again. And I think that the most important thing now moving forward is for us all to just be more kind, more conscious, more generous, and keep our eyes really open. But keeping ourselves mentally balanced, I think, is going to be the most important thing, because in 6 months to a year, we're going to know whose news was telling the truth and what that other thing was doing. I think it's all going to come out. And at that time, whoever was really doing their homework is going to be teaching a lot of people how to perhaps think differently. And that's when we can have the C60 Evo bars. We can have 5GL transformed to Tesla 369. I mean, I'm seeing all this amazing possibilities of, scientifically how we could turn everything. This week on Friday, I'm doing another crop circle show with Michael Jaco. And as soon as I started doing the research, I found this scientist in England who's taken a whole handful of crop circles that I remember and turned them into machines that are actually creating free energy. So we have all this brilliant stuff happening on the planet, as long as we can keep our brains in tune and not be affected by all this distraction that's being thrown at us to lower our consciousness and our immune system. We've got the ability to boost it and build it and say, I don't care what you throw at me. I'm going to keep taking my C60 Evo, and I'm going to stay powered up with my spectacularly wise friends, because I am loving our life now. I just feel like all the people we are working with are incredibly grateful, because all of us are saying win-win. When you feel good, it shows. And when you feel good on the inside and outside, which is what these products in combination do, you can't help but be happier every day in the world.
Indeed. And that's the constitutional value, the pursuit of happiness. So C60 Evo is protected by the U.S. Constitution. Hey, what's not to like?
That's a conversation for the Buckminster Fuller Cafe.
Right?
Indeed.
I see some other companies doing shows online where they're very proudly talking about the studies that were done. And I love hearing them rave about the 90% longer. But, what they never mention is it's us, it's our product. And Chris modestly was talking about all the years where they were only doing industrial grade C60, which is for industrial purposes, solar cells, batteries, tires, all kinds of industrial purposes, certainly not supplements or facial serum that's going to make your skin glow and your brown spots somehow disappear and your scars heal up quicker. And I'm only speaking for myself, certainly not, making a medical claim, but what's wonderful is that when we met, they were ready to transition, because they realized in the last few years that I was blabbing about it on the air so much that there was going to be a big market for edible C60. And so here they are with all this industrial grade, and now they're starting to realize, wait, people are putting it in their bodies. So some of the companies that wanted the cheaper stuff, the industrial grade, Chris said, you know what? As much as I enjoy money, I'm not going to take your money, because I'm not going to encourage you to sell industrial grade to the public. I'm not going to be responsible. And that was really impressive to me. And so they had to go somewhere else to buy their lower quality C60. So if you don't see ESS60, which is guaranteed to be safe for human consumption, that's what we're selling. And it's a whole different process of manufacturing where you feel safe. And the others, they might be questionable. And that's why Chris was saying a lot of people write to us, is this company safe? Is that company safe? And we're like, why don't you just buy from us and see if you notice the difference?
You are going to put this in your body. So
Yeah.
like, what are you really asking? You know, is this safe enough to put in your body? You should probably trust the person that you're asking. Is it safe enough to put it in your body?
And the industrial grade C60 is not. They've seen some bad results. So when companies are advertising C60, and they're doing 95% or 99% or all these percentages, all I can say is it's not pure ESS60. So you're going to be tampering with all different varieties of maybe and definitely not, and possibly, but probably not as good. And then you've got ESS60, which is pure C60 from our lab. So when we met and we opened our new company, C60 Evo, some people say, why do I see Chris, with SES 10 years ago or whatever? It's like, well, they've been doing it since the 90s, and he's that guy. Even though he doesn't look old enough, he's that guy who invented the reactor with his partner Robert 30 years ago in college. And it's this huge metal Star Wars machine, and they're still using the same technology today. So they were pretty bright back then, but they were also inspired because their teacher, their professor, had told them that C60 in its purest form is more valuable than gold per gram. Well, a couple of college guys, why wouldn't you? And Chris used to talk about wanting a Maserati, but I think he's got past that now because he's got a couple of Teslas. So life is good. Like I said, this is the easiest thing I've ever sold because everybody benefits. And I use it a lot. There's sometimes people are sending us these paranoid, crazy questions about the graphene oxide, is it in your C60? We're scared because somebody told us to be scared. And it's like, has nothing to do with us. We've done some shows about it because it's like apples to a plant with geranium flowers. It's just like they're just not the same. And so again, the fear of the word nano and bots and AI and C60, again, I can't talk about the other companies because I don't know what they're doing, but we're the lab that's been doing it for 30 years. We upgraded 2 years ago to pure edible skin ESS60. And it's kind of for me, it's a no-brainer when you've got something this good. They called it a miracle molecule for a very long time for good reason. And I feel like I just got lucky being able to partner with the originals and create something new. And we're not done creating products. We're going to do full body, probably balding, hair, whatever. But it's pretty wonderful. The testimonials people send us, like, I'm not getting gray anymore. I just look down, I'm like, wow, I'm not seeing mine much either. Of course, I'm only 26, so I always mess with age, but Alfred and I are pretty proud. We're both pushing 100 and looking really good with our ESS60.
So let me jump in here. I'll change the subject a little bit, so we don't have to get honest about our age. There was one testimonial. This one's from Angela Foster. By the way, this is on our Google page, our Google My Business page, so you can go check it out. It says the product has worked wonders for myself and family members. We have experienced more restful sleep, more energy during the day. The serum has worked wonders for my skin. It is my new go-to products. I have been talking about them I've been taking them for about a month now, and I don't want to be without them. Thanks to the team at C60 Evo, one satisfied customer.
Yay.
One among many.
We have had people write from Australia. How did you get it here 4 days after I ordered it? I had somebody from Canada last week. How did you get it here in 2 days? Once in a while, though, it gets lost in the mail or, whatever, but our shipping is pretty quick. And you write us even on a Sunday night at 9 o'clock, nobody's going to write you back. But I will. I'm the weekend person because I just kind of live it and breathe it. I just find the business to be so fun. And what I'm enjoying is that I see very few small single bottles anymore. Most people are buying the whole set because it works. And a lot of people that don't use lip balms, they're only $7 each. So it's worth, trying a few. But you'll get hooked kind of quickly because it does moisturize your lips. And that's pretty nice with the winter coming on.
Indeed. Yeah, well, we're moving into the magical 60-minute mark. Do you have any thoughts that you'd? I know that Thanksgiving is coming up, and will be the next time we'll be meeting will be right before Christmas. So, is there anything you'd like to leave our?
Yeah, I just wanted to make sure we're clear on the URL, just so that your show gets credit, and that is
Thank you.
C60evo.com/Alfred LW. So it's Alfred spelled out LW. It wouldn't surprise me if I can test the other one too, but it is the one that I tested was Alfred spelled out and then LW. And then the coupon code that you want to use is, I believe it's the EVALW. Yeah, good. You've got it there. EVALW for that additional savings. And Patty can talk about the best ways to save money and the packages that might be good for Christmas gifts, either to other people or a Christmas gift to yourself.
Yeah. On our homepage, we always have a monthly special. And for November, we have 3 gift sets. So if you buy 2 of the inside and out set, you'll get the third one for half off. And that's all of our products in one pretty box, tissue wrapped and colored gift wrap. You would have a set for yourself and 2 gifts for your friends, and one of them is half off. So that's special. On the bottom of our homepage, c60evo.com, if you sign up to be a subscriber, you get a monthly newsletter that has a different monthly special. So you have options for 2 different ones, but any day of the week, if you sign up for a monthly subscription, you'll save 20% every month. And if you use Alfred's code, you get 10% off the first month and then continue down the road. Alfred will continue to get a percentage of, as long as you are a subscriber. He also makes money every month, his channel. So we believe in what you're doing. Alfred is proud to say he's almost 80 years old, and he just wrote a 50,000 word document in 30 days. It was brilliant. And he was one of the winners. He didn't get to the punchline, but you were one of the winners.
Well, they technically, if you write a 50,000 word novel between November 1st and November 30th, you win.
Yay.
I finished my novel by November 12th. It's National Novel Writing Month, NaNoWriMo.org, and 300,000 people are competing worldwide.
Wow. Well, your brain never sleeps. My brain never sleeps.
Well, I've got C60evo.com to credit. I now have a new career path as a novel writer. Who knows? And I found a book web designer, and by the middle of January, I'm going to have a whole book web designer, and I'll be out there with novels, and I'll send you all review copies. Now, Susan Aram asks, how long is the sale on for? Can you let us listeners know, please?
The November special is all November. The subscriber is 24/7 all year long. The gift sets, you get 15% off if you added up each item. When we put them together, 3 or 4 items at a time, you save about 15%. And then if you do that monthly on a subscription, you save another 20%. So those are 2 ways if you wanted to try all the products where you'd save a nice amount. Plus the first sale, you'd use Alfred's code EVALW, which is EVO, EV, and Alfred's initials, and you'll get another 10% off your first order. So that's a pretty sweet discount to try the products. And if you don't love it, send us an email and you are immediately removed. We don't want anybody that's not happy to be getting our products, and we take very few back. What's interesting is we just had our 2-year anniversary on November 1st, and looking at our history, the subscribers that have come into the company, and some of them cancel out, of course, but in our 2 years, we're sitting at about 47% have stayed on subscription that started the products. Now that
For a year. Yeah.
is an incredible sign that it works.
That's
Yeah.
amazing.
It is amazing.
Yeah. And I can testify that, you know, and I think that there's a causal connection here, that C60 Evo helps you in your personal evolution. And there are studies that show that people in life go through many different careers. So if you're looking to, I mean, I've been a lawyer, I've been a futurist, I've been a judge, I've been a political activist, and now I'm a novelist. So, hey, if you want to try something new, the best accelerant is C60 Evo, ESS60. That's a testimonial.
Bring yourself back to life. I want to mention also that we do C60 Evo for dogs, which is our top selling olive oil, organic EV extra virgin olive oil with a little essence of bacon. Dogs love it. And we do one for cats, which is with a little essence of salmon oil. So we have a gift set called the Dog Lover Set. One for you, one for the dog. We've got the Cat Lover Set. One for the cat, one for the cat's owner. Actually, the cat says we're, you know, that's the boss. And so, you know, one for the cat, one for the cat's pet.
Plaything.
Yeah. But again, you know, we take care of pets. Huh?
The cat servant. Yeah.
The cat servant.
I do like to point out that the data is very clear. We sell a lot more dog product than cat product. So if you're a feline lover, you need to represent your species, because right now the data says that dog lovers are significantly more interested in their dogs living longer than cat lovers are in their cats living longer than 9 lives.
That's not nice.
Whoa.
I'm just saying
dog,
that's what the data.
but dog spelled backwards is God, so that's
a good one. I do all the ads and promotions, and I had fun this week with the cats. There was a couple of cats holding up a selfie iPhone and making really funny faces, and I said, please don't overdose your cats on C60 Evo for cats. All right. Well, on that smiling note, I thank you, Alfred, for bringing us your amazing worldwide audience. After your shows, we get sales from so many different countries. It's really lovely. Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you very much, Alfred.
Good. And as we close, Patty and Chris, please stay on, you know, so we can talk about our next month's show.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you, everyone.
Okay.
Take good care and have a wonderful holiday.